Hey guys, how's it going? What are you doing? Somebody in the comments, I just had the first Jason Statham comment on my YouTube channel. It's not the first time somebody asked me that. Actually, that somebody asked me that I was going into a courthouse. Every once in a while, somebody, you look just like Jason Statham. It's like, I, you know, you must be seeing something I see. Actually, the what I got called mostly when I was a kid was Opie, Ron Howard. So yeah, yeah. So let's get a collective energy reading, shall we? Today, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know the drill. If it doesn't resonate with you, then it doesn't resonate. I don't know what else to say. Maybe it will. Maybe you'll figure out something that. Jeez. Maybe you'll figure something out that you never thought you could. So I've been. This is going to be kind of like World Tree Part 2. Decisions. Making decisions. You guys are making decisions. Going through a doorway. Ancestors are guiding you in a place of abundance. And you're reuniting with people. In a state of transition. That's what I'm seeing here. Kind of the same message we've been getting a lot here lately, right? Making firm decisions on your path. But taking some time out. Right? I love this time out. This is rest. And this is really interesting the way that. So look at this card. And the guy is totally beat. He's face down. And he's got four arrows that look like they could have hit him, but they didn't. And there's a butterfly up top, a beautiful little butterfly. So, yeah, transition, transformation, making decisions, going from one place to the next, going through a doorway. The Great Bear, all the light on the other side. It's a dark doorway, and it could be a little bit frightening, right? There's a big, scary bear up on top, and so you're not sure what's on. When you go through the door, not really sure what's happening, but you're doing it with love, and you're reuniting with people. Oh, I got a new deck. I haven't shown you guys this deck yet. I saw this in Barnes and Noble. I was like, man, I gotta have this deck. Trash Animals Oracle. I was just like, yeah. The Trash Animals Guide: Life, Love, and Surviving Daily Chaos. So yeah, let's grab an Oracle card out of this deck and then we'll move to another deck. I'll give you guys kind of a synopsis of the front page. If you guys have seen this before, I've never seen anybody use this deck before, and it's funny because it's got all these trash animals. It's about city, like, what happens when we deal with the trash, because the trash could be, in my mind, the trash is all of the wasted energy, right? When you're wasting your energy, the trash is all that wasted energy. What's happening with the wasted energy? So we'll treat it like that, right? Let's draw some trash animal cards around our wasted energy. And this is the front of this is what the cover card looks like. That's a little raccoon inside of a trash can. Yeah. A tipped over trash can. Good luck. Opportunities. All right. You never know what you're going to see in a trash can. Good luck. Opportunities. You guys are looking pretty good right now. Let's get a couple more. I love this deck. This is so cool. So on either side, Curiosity, Mischief Maker, and Conservation. This is me. I can tell you guys a story. The Mischief Maker. So you guys see he's holding a roll of toilet paper. So that's a true story. I told this story to somebody recently. It was about, I was a kid, and I think I was in 5th grade. Yeah, because we had a foreign exchange student. We had an English foreign exchange teacher, and she wasn't real good at controlling the classroom. And nobody was really interested in her class. They did their best, but I mean, she was so monotone to listen to. It was. That's the way I remember it, right? I'm just giving you my version of this. And so me and a buddy, we just try to figure out things to do. And, when you're in 5th grade, you're about 10 years old, right? And so 10, 11 years old. And so we just make spitballs and just, shoot spitballs. And we got to where we were making big wads and just splatter them up in the ceiling. So I actually came home and I did this. I was in the bathroom. I was going to the bathroom. And I took giant spitballs and I splattered them on the ceiling. And they were like this big around on the ceiling. There was like 5 of them. And then I just forgot about them. Didn't even pay attention. Next day, in my bedroom, when I was that age, I was right across the hallway from the bathroom. So you got this long, narrow hallway, and the bathroom and my bedroom are facing. And I opened my door to my bedroom because I heard something outside. And my parents were in the bathroom. My mom was standing on a step stool, and she had a can of Raid out, and she was spraying the spitballs on the ceiling, and my dad was helping her. Get them, Carolyn, before they spread. I remember her saying something like that, thinking that they were wasp nests. And here I am, like 10, 11-year-old kid, and I'm just like, oh no. Right? I mean, for one thing, I knew I was going to have to say something. But I knew that they were going to feel embarrassed when I did say something. And so I was just like, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? And so, I'll never forget that. This is one of those memories. Some of these memories are priceless. I'm sure you guys have your own memories. But I was like, and I was standing there dumbfounded. It took me a few minutes, and then all of a sudden, they said, I said, can you, those aren't wasp nests, Mom. And she looked at me kind of with this confused look on her face. She's like, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, that's toilet paper. And she kind of looked down for a second, and then, I think her face must have turned like 5 different colors of red. Embarrassment, anger, just about every single, emotion you can think of that was, I knew I was in trouble, but she was embarrassed enough where she clean it up. She said something really short, and she just, her and Dad just walked out of the bathroom, and so I went in there and cleaned it all up. But it was just like so goofy. That was me, right? A little bit mischievous. Always been that way. The Curiosity card is interesting. You got little mice looking in on like an open, hamburger. And the Conservation is kind of the same card as our four arrows energy, right? So, pretty cool cards. I like those cards. So we have some mischievous energy. This is kind of like a word transition, making decisions. But and we're getting some guidance here. And doing it in love. Yeah. With grace. Looking into our crystal ball here. The mirror. I love this card. Some serpent energy there. And the wheel is always turning. So that's our animal deck. So tell me what you guys have been up to in the comments. I'd love to hear you guys' comments. I do try to read all the comments if I get a lot of comments. So if we're in our transition, where are we going? Right? I mean, it seems like we're always, like in the last week or two, we're walking through dark doors. Now, I can tell you, this is something that, and this is I can talk about this now before I draw cards, and it feels like I'm being led to do this. So this World Tree card on this deck, same decks that I was using for these. That's the back of this deck. I love this deck. The World Tree in this is a little bit, I can't move my finger because I'm looking at the camera. The World Tree is a little bit deceptive here because the center of it has a bunch of stuff. And maybe that's appropriate because a lot of us are coming out of this place of darkness. So half of reality is in darkness. If you look at three-dimensional reality, you know, we move from like rocks and bugs to, you know, in state of conflict. So when, you know, lower energetic creatures, let's say, you know, a cougar doesn't see its prey as part of it. So it feeds on its environment. Now, as organisms grow more complex, then the way that we feed off each other gets equally more complicated. Now, think of human society. How do we as a society feed off of one another in a more and more complex way? It starts to get super complicated, right? I mean, emotionally, sexually, all those things are sexual in nature because you're just exchanging energy. But it gets super complicated, and so the way that we feed on one another gets so complicated until we get to a place where we realize, oh wait, we're all one. This is just a vessel accessing ourself. You know, when you ever look into somebody else's eyes, you're actually looking into your own eyes, your own shadow, the shadow of yourself, right? In the garden was Adam, and this is just a metaphor. That might have happened. It might not have happened. You know, there might have been I don't know. I can't tell you. But it's just that it's describing creation, where you are recreating from yourself. That you can be male or female. And that creative energy creates what you attract, and now you have the feminine portion that you're staring into, or your shadow. That one card that I picked up off the top was the Three of Vessels, Joy. So I've seen that's part of this other card that I just got in here, where you're celebrating this abundance and reunion, Six of Vessels. So these two go. So I just had this happen to me too. Somebody just reached out, hey, you want me to stop by? I was like, yeah. And I had a lot of people get a hold of me yesterday that I hadn't talked to in a while, so that was fun. Anyway, so that being said, so this is going to reach a breaking point. That's the split that we're going through this year. Now, if you pay attention to my YouTube channel and you read my YouTube channel, if you go to circuitbreaker.com, that link that I have, I think it's the first one. It's a funnel that I just built that's not finished, but if you go through it, you'll see that I have a couple offerings that are just a self-discovery guide and a co-creative guide. The self-discovery guide is much more important because mastering yourself and understanding that you create your own emotional state is before you can really start working with people in a healthy way, right? You're going to be love is the highest frequency. So the last barrier of conflict is that feeling like you need to sell yourself to somebody else. Like we are the creators of this reality. You want to partner with other creators so that you're not feeding off of each other negatively, if that makes sense, right? So imagine what that would look like now. And the way that I structure that co-creative guide, look at the branching structure of the tree. So when you take money out of the equation, imagine if you took 1,000 people and said, hey, we need to work together as a community to build this community. And you didn't introduce any kind of means of exchange. That community would naturally organize itself into a branching structure with groups that would work together to create things for the rest of the community. You know, maybe, and naturally speaking, when you, and these are old spiritual laws, and it's just the way that nature builds itself internally in your own body, where the max size group that you would ever end up working with would be about 10 people. Because once it grows bigger than 10 people, it starts to get kind of dysfunctional, right? I mean, things break down, then that group kind of separates because it's hard to deal with more than 9 other people in a day, right? I mean, if you were on a co-creative project, how easy is it for you to interact with more than 9 other people? It's just not feasible. I mean, super healthy groups are between 6 and 8 because 6 people can break down a couple of tasks and get a lot of stuff done. I've worked with people my entire life. This is true. So 10 would be max, and then those groups are connected to other groups depending on each group's, maybe one group's job is to provide exposure to whatever you're building to market. Maybe you've got a group of healers that are making sure that no conflicts build up in the system. Maybe you've got a group of people that are making sure that the energy for that group gets equally dispersed, or whatever you're offering to the rest of the world is getting equally dispersed in that system. So when you have an equal accountability, equal incentive system where everyone is respecting one another and you have an equal exchange of energy, now you don't have money isn't operating within that group. And as those groups grow bigger, people in the outside world who are still operating individually in differences of potential, that's what we see in bigger corporate settings, right? You got to make it to a position, and that system has created what we have now, where the people making the most amount of money are doing the least amount of work, right? That's what it's created. We've created a society that creates this huge imbalance. And so what we're going to start to see is the ones that are most imbalanced and are using control to control other people will end up being the most out of balance, and it's hard on your heart, right? Your heart will end up killing you. And as we have more and more energy moving through our system, it's going to be harder and harder to do that. So the creators, the intuitives, are all the ones right now probably with the least amount of money, right? And I've thought about this. What happens when 1 million people start working in equality and just pure love for one another and just building things for one another? For one thing, there's a lot of technologies out there that would free society. Doubtless, right? One piece of technology, let's say you had a free energy device, something that had anti-gravity properties, that one thing would completely destroy the money system. For one thing, think about this. If you had something in your hands that you could have unlimited energy from that would power a vehicle or your house so that you could, dig a well, everything, machinery, you no longer have to buy fuel from an external source. Controlling energy is everything. And how you all control your own energy, that's going to manifest in our external reality as more and more people, as enough people learn to control their own energy, and they're not feeding off of, they're not taking energy from other people, and you're providing your own energy for the environment, and you start partnering that, then that then that will externally manifest in things where we are all self-sufficient. And now you won't, I mean, there'd be no purpose to even have money. People don't really get this concept. There'll be no purpose to have money. If I have a vehicle that can take me anywhere on the planet, in a very short amount of time, and if I have all my own energy for my own property, and I'm partnering with a community that has that same, we're growing all our own stuff. And I mean, we can just, and it's going to be easy. It's not going to be a lot of work. I mean, what life do you guys want to live, right? I mean, there's nothing that I would rather do. And the problem you always run into is narcissism, right? Somebody who wants to be in control. Why? And I've never understood this, because nothing would make me happier than just sitting with all of you guys in your mastered state of being in a community where we all just are doing what, for one thing, once you've mastered yourself and your psychic abilities are high, you'll know what decisions to make. There's not going to be any question of, nobody's going to be fighting for control. We're all going to be knowing what each other are thinking anyway, right? So you're going to be with your partner and your family, working with other families, just building stuff, right? Not a big person on orgies and stuff, Yeah. I mean, you don't want to control anybody else that's interested. Let people live the way they want to live. But the tree is going to burn, because half of the tree, we're coming to the end of another full cycle. And there's some sacred knowledge around how to produce devices that run that way, in order to free yourself from society. For example, if I can create everything kind of this is a base 12 system. That tree is a base 12 system. Everything kind of runs on 12 for, we've got 24 hours in a day. One Earth day is 24 hours. One solar day, or one full precession of the equinox is 24,000 years. And the years are the day times 360. And then so it's 3 times. It's a factor of 3. It's always a factor of 3. So like 3 times 12 gets you to 36 or 360. So the difference between the Earth day and the Sun day is 10 to the third power. So you're always expanding. So if you can capture all the energy of 10 to the third power, you're resonating in exactly the same spot. That's a clue. Emperor. Just getting major arcana out here for you guys. Wow. The Magician, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Emperor are coming out for you guys. And Six of Cups. Six of Cups in this deck is pleasure. Kind of reliving, in the old deck, it's reliving old memories. Sometimes memories of the past. This one is like budding flowers. I'll show you guys this card. These are powerful cards. Let's get a couple more. Success. And the Seven of Swords. Futility. It seems like, when you're... So this is showing up, right? So a lot of times, when you're in your Emperor energy, you're trying to get people... I mean, I'll be honest, right? My efforts a lot of times will seem futile, because it doesn't matter how much you educate people on what we're getting ready to go through. And, there's going to be a split. Bang. Where enough people start partnering together in equality to start building building the society that they want, we'll be able to build whatever we want. But that effort seems futile a lot of times, right? Because it feels like you're for one thing, you're bludgeoning yourself against people's fear. People are afraid of change. People are afraid of moving forward, just generally speaking. You know, especially if you're in an old established pattern where you're making money a certain way. Let's say you've been in the same job for 20 years. I quit my job that I had for 20 years, and I just took a leap of faith. And just been, creating ever since. And trying to make sure that I wasn't trying to feed off people energetically, right? I mean, Ace of Wands. Fire energy. We got same story here. All major arcana. You guys are looking pretty slick. So, before we go, we'll get an oracle card from our other oracle deck. Tell me in the comments of what you guys think about, especially the concept of what we're actually going through, because half of the tree has to burn, right? When the body heals, everyone is a part of your body. And so people are going to, as long as you make sure your heart health is right, make sure you have purity of heart. You're not standing in, because you'll be able to see when people are in judgment of one another, or if they're, if you're trying to, pull somebody towards you, or, you'll push people away, right? If you get too aggressive, or you kind of have to be in a state of surrender, but also providing loving support at the same time while you're cutting off energies, right? Those four cards of the king suits that kind of show you your fruits of the spirit and your emotional states and your sword of truth and all that stuff. So communication. So the communication card came out, and at the same time, new opportunities in a state of transition. So be prepared for communication, and you're in your Emperor energy and your Queen energy, so you're actually communicating well and connecting with people. So this is an awesome reading, guys. Love you. Catch you on the next one on my YouTube channel. If you have a chance to check out that last video I did with Carl. Carl's a super cool guy. He's a podcaster, coach. Love that guy. Very genuine guy. And it was a really good interview. So, love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.